It'll be 1 to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go!
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
If we can get better there, we'll be able to keep up more so down the straightaways. And, you know, as far as car handling, I think we're just a little bit further ahead of the box, I guess, and, you know, working better with where the car is, where it is right now.
Question back in the corner, and then we'll go. Somebody over here might have one. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dave Rodman, NASCAR.com. Kyle, the way the season's gone so far, have you noticed any change in the team dynamic at JGR? Because you've come in as a new guy, and in every statistical category, you're leading the two veterans there. I'm not saying it's a dramatic thing, but is there any change in the dynamic there at all?
Not really. I mean, from the way I came into where it is now, it all feels like the same. You know, I mean, if you ask Tony or Denny that question, they might be able to know more because they've been there for, you know, Tony's been there forever and Denny's been there for a couple more years. So as far as I'm concerned, I feel like everything's the same as what it was when I got there. You know, everybody's still digging and working hard at the shop, and they're all, you know, splitting their time with the 20, the 11, the 18. There's nobody that's, if you're thinking that there's, you know, people leaning more towards the 18 side of things, I don't see any of that. Who what?
They come to you for any kind of advice the way you seem to have grasped this new Toyota car so well?
I mean, we all have a little bit differences in our driving styles and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, Tenny, whatever. That's a combination. So, those guys, they've come over and talked to me a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Denny more last weekend at Dover, he had a little bit of trouble. He felt like qualifying. We talked a little bit about stuff. You know, Tony, I went to him actually. I felt like they were pretty good a few weeks back. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember our venue, but you know, Denny was also good at Richmond. I went and talked to him. So I mean, we translate stuff back and forth, and we try to communicate, and hopefully, you know, I mean, our team meetings and stuff that we have sometimes are a little jumbled up because of the fact that, you know, either I or Denny or Tony, whoever's running a nationwide race, so we're not always able to make it.
How's the condition of the track, and what is going to be the most difficult part of your itinerary this weekend?
The track conditions now? It's hot. It just, the sun popped through and really warmed up the racetrack, so speeds are really going to slow down, and that's why I was surprised to see Jimmy lay down the lap that he did. But, you know, our lap looks like it's pretty good among all the rest of the guys who were in the 50s, 60s, and now there's guys that are slowing up all the way into the 54-second bracket, so I wasn't really expecting to see that. But, you know, fortunately, we had a good enough car where we're second right now. I think that'll hold up pretty good. I don't think it'll hold up quite as well as I would have expected. But, you know, the more that the track changes with these cars, you really see it. You know, if the track heats up 10 degrees, it's like the old car or the track heating up about 30 degrees. So, I mean, it just escalates everything so much more. Our biggest challenge of this weekend is probably going to be weather, if there's any weather around the areas. But besides that, just getting to and from airplanes.
Tony.
Kyle, are you able to give Kurt any advice on how you guys are getting your cars to turn? And secondly, what is your means of transportation tonight?
No, I can't give any help to Kurt, you know, because I feel like a lot of it's in our engineering staff, and a lot of the guys like Steve Addington and Chris Gale, the engineer, and all the engineers at Joe Gibbs Racing have really worked hard, and I think that's where the secrets are, is just those guys and getting the car to develop more and getting it, you know, to where we need it to be. As far as means of transportation, we're using Marquis Jets tonight. We're using Marquis Jets tomorrow night. Tonight is a Citation 10, I believe. No, excuse me, it's a G450, and then tomorrow it'll be a Citation 10. So we're working it hard.
Go ahead, sir.
John Bryant from the Focus. In the past, people always complained about the tunnel turn at Pocono. Now I've heard some noise about the patch over on the straightaway. What's the hardest part of the track for you right now?
The hardest part of the track for me is probably turn 1, and then turn 2 is the second hardest, and then turn 3 is the third hardest. You know, turn 3, just the where everybody's running is through that patch that they laid down, and it's just going to look like railroad tracks. You know, everybody's going to be in a line through there. It's going to look like a train race. So, that's going to be hard because we won't be able to pass. You can't go down low and get underneath somebody and get a run on them, because when you come off the corner, you're 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour slower than the guy on your outside. They're just going to blow right by you going down the straightaway. So most of your passing is going to be done probably through turn 1, off of turn 1, and getting into turn 2. And if somebody can get a good run off of turn 2, getting back up high and getting in line to get on that patch, getting into turn 3. So besides that, turn 1, we just can't get the cars to turn down there because there's so much load on the bump stops from going 210 miles an hour down the front straightaway and then trying to slow it down to about $140. And then, turn 2, it's kind of bumpy, kind of rough, and there's different areas where you've got to maneuver through the tunnel turn to get your car right. And if you miss it just by a little bit, you tend to knock the wall down off the corner, so it's tight.
Maybe you have time for one more. Chuck?
Yeah, Kyle. Always when we talk about how you're doing in relationship to other people, you talk about engineers and teams and stuff. Does the driver get enough credit? And do you think what are you doing with that car that maybe puts you a step ahead too?
Well, I mean, I guess I've through the tests and stuff of trying to learn a new car and stuff, and my adaptability between the trucks and the Nationwide and these new Cup cars. I've raced so many different vehicles that you learn so many different things, and you can try more things when you get into a different vehicle. So it kind of lends more, I guess, to my performance of running better because I've got more ideas to try than just maybe 2 or 3 like the other guys. They've learned over the past. But from there, the car now, I think it's more car than it is driver. With the engineering staff trying to make these cars better, I think the better teams are the better teams as usual, and the guys that don't have quite as good a handle on the car, their drivers suffer a little bit. So I think the older car, it was more 60-40, 60% driver. I think with this car, it's probably about 70% car, so it's a little bit different.
I appreciate it. You've actually dropped one spot, but you're still third quickest.